come on in this spiritual room. Good day, good day, good day. There we go. There we go. Come on, Earl is in the building. I see you. I see you. We're going to talk about the purpose, the power, and the plan of God's word. We are about to put the text in context. There we go. There we go. Grab me some water here. Mind my spiritual business this morning. Y'all bear with me. Good day, good day. Oh, I see y'all jumping in the room. Rocky Rod is in the building. Terminator's in the building. YouTube fam coming on in the building. Deborah, Frankie, Anthony. I said, listen, Tina, I see all y'all jumping in the building. Carla, too much. Come on, come on. Ha, happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday. There we go. Water is good for the soul. Ty is in the building. I see you. I see you. Come on in the room. Maria's in the building. Casey's in the building. I see y'all. I see y'all. I had a cup. Bear with me just one moment. I will be right back. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Hope you guys are having a terrific Tuesday. I'm so excited to dig into this text. It has been watered by prayer. My wife, Christy Dobbins, my God, she was praying this morning, walking the house, pushing power, prayer, presence, purpose, and so much more, setting the atmosphere, and I'm grateful to have her. I have listened to and reread this text 4 or 5 times this morning. We're getting ready to finish the story, a portion of the story of Absalom. Absalom is David's son. Absalom is the son who takes matters into his own hands because his sister was violated. We're just going to jump right in this morning. We're just going to jump right in. And Absalom goes on the run after he has his half-brother killed. And there is this reconciliation. We found that out yesterday with Absalom and his father, King David. They actually bridged the gap. They closed the gap. They resolved the issue, so you think. And this is amazing to me because as we dive in this morning, I need you to know that sometimes there are issues that you thought that were resolved, and for whatever reason, they're not resolved. You resolved it on your end, but because somebody else had a different motive, then things begin to unravel. I think sometimes that we assume that the other person will never ever commit a sin or trespass against us. I think sometimes we're too naive because we're trusting that people will do the right thing. Ooh wee, ooh wee, ooh wee. And this is amazing to me because we trust people to do the right thing with our heart after there has been reconciliation. What do you do when there has been reconciliation? What do you do when there's been a resolve about a particular issue and you thought things were over, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes this drama? We find ourselves in this text today on the brink of a family feud. Absalom is restored back to his father, David. Once again, Absalom is the son who took matters into his own hands. David didn't do anything about the violation of his daughter, so Absalom took matters into his own hands, and he had his half-brother killed, had his half-brother Amnon killed. So Absalom goes on the run for 2 years. Then he comes back, or a certain period of time, then he comes back through Joab, through the reconciliation of a wise woman. David brings his son back in the palace to live, but David says, you must never come in my presence. But then, as you know, Absalom says, Joab, tell David. In fact, he sets Joab's field on fire, his property on fire. He says, you're going to listen to me. Go tell the king, my father, why did he bring me back and hasn't spoken to me for 2 years? After not speaking to his father for 2 years, they bring a resolve. There is a resolution. Today's devotion in this P3 format, if you're new to P3, we call it the purpose, the power, and the plan of God's word. So this is why we summarize it to say it's P3. The purpose in this is to show you that some issues that you thought were resolved were not. The power in this is to show you that you got to take your power back and not just wait for the other person's heart to clear up. The plan, your plan today must be to discover all the unresolved issues in your life. You're like, no, I already know what they are. I already know what they are. But sometimes you think matters are resolved and they are not. And so we're going to dig into this. You would think that Absalom had forgiven his father and his father forgiven him. They kissed. It's a Jewish sign of custom. They kissed on the cheek. They kissed on the forehead. They embrace. Everything is going to be good. So you think. So you think. OMG. Praying for you, Frankie. OMG. OMG. I know I'm not the only one who thought matters were resolved in my family. I know I'm not the only one. I know y'all gonna leave me out here by myself, but I will be honest with you. There are times that our family is rocking on all 4, 6, 8, however many cylinders. Bless you, Matthew. Oh man, it's late even. Bless you. And things are just so peachy and they're great and it is amazing. And then sometimes out of nowhere, boom. My wife and I were like, where did that come from? Because sometimes people are fickle. And then on the other end, to be fair, sometimes it's us. Maybe we're picking at a sore. Maybe as parents, we're bringing back up something that we think needs to be resolved. But typically in this day and time of this new movement where young adults have created this culture of what we call estrangement. At your leisure, study estrangement. This is this new culture of estrangement where young adults, they think they'll get their voice back by being estranged from their parents. Just put that in your pocket. If you've not been there, just put that in your pocket. They may not answer your calls. They might not text you back. They are deliberately pouting as an adult until they think they're going to get their way and a certain resolve. And so that has been probably for the last 5 to 10 years, there's been a particular movement. Now there is a counter to that movement where parents are taking their power back and saying, that's on you. So what? Pout if you want to. I'm tired of sending you money. You got to grow up. Everything is not my fault. And you got to stop blaming childhood issues or perceptions based upon your current situation. You're just going to have to grow up. Anyways, I thought that was relevant because as I was rereading this morning 4 or 5 times, I started digging into the details, Facebook fam, of Absalom. Why is Absalom still upset? We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. Now, I'm all for holding David accountable. I lead men's ministry. I always hold men accountable. We should be the first to apologize, the first to own, the first to try to resolve an issue. But I also teach men, don't drain yourself mentally and physically for people who will never actually grow up, change, or resolve what God told them to resolve. Oh God. Oh God. Let's dig into it. Let's dig into it. Watch this. So after the embrace with Absalom and his father David, Absalom bought a chariot of horses. He bought a chariot, he bought horses, and he hired 50 bodyguards to run ahead of him. Now, why would Absalom, who is not the king, need to have all kind of chariots and horses and 50 bodyguards ahead of him. OMG. I can't get off here, but I thought about all the young preachers who try to be important. I thought about some of the preachers, the prophets, the evangelists, the missionaries. I thought about all the people who pretend to be important. Do you really need 50 people around you everywhere you go? Or is this your own insecurity? Or me and my wife would joke, like, or can you not fight? It's just a joke. It's just a joke. I'm not promoting fighting. It's just a joke. Sometimes people will pretend that they're more important than they are. And you can tell by the entourage of fake friends that they have actually hired to create this aroma of a presence that doesn't even smell excellent. And this is the season for all these perceptions to be torn down, because when people try to pretend, the more they try to pretend, the more God is actually unraveling and opening up the covers and pulling back what's really true. Um, am I saying that you shouldn't have bodyguards? No, not at all. Am I saying that you shouldn't have armor bearers? No, no, no. I have guys that have mentored for years and years and years, and they just want to hang around. And then I have an armor bearer who's going to make sure, he said, Pastor, I feel called to make sure that you're taken care of. And it really helps me not make foolish decisions, whether it's with women, whether it's with business, whether it's with people. It's to protect me, it's to guide me, it's to really help make sure that I have other eyes around me. My wife and I have people that protect us both. I will admit that, I will be honest, she has an armor bearer, I have an armor bearer. But the Bible says that Absalom had 50, not one, 50. And here's the key. When you're over various ministries, you need assistance and you need help. There's nothing wrong with, so I want to speak to someone who, you may be like myself, you got a lot of ministries, you got a lot of responsibility. There's nothing wrong with assistance. But when you see people, here's the point. We're in 2 Samuel chapter number 15, verse 1. Here's the point. When you see people with more people around them that they really don't need, something is going on the inside of their heart. Oh God, I'm trying to slow this down, y'all. I'm about to jump. He got up, this is Absalom, David's son. He got up early in the morning and went out to the gate of the city. He's got 50 armor bearers. Remember, 50 people going ahead of him. And he's got chariots and horses, okay? So the armor bearers this is 50 armor bearers, 50 people around him, 50 bodyguards. And then you've got the people who drive the chariots and the horses and the servants and everybody else. OMG. Come on, minutes. Andy said, self-reverence. There it is. Sometimes we think so highly of ourselves. And you're right, Earl, that we think everyone knows us and there's a threat on every corner. Let me tell you something. Oh, God. I'm trying to word this right. There are places that you can go on the earth where nobody knows your name or your face. I don't care who you are. From the top singer to the person in the White House, I'm telling you, listen to me clearly. Don't assume that everybody knows who you are. Bless you, Trina. Good morning. Don't assume. Don't assume. Don't assume. Don't assume. I feel you, Frankie. So what's wrong with people who are always solo? I know, right? Nothing wrong at all. Nothing wrong at all. It's okay to be solo, and it's okay to have people around you. But the key is the motive. We're getting ready to see the motive of Absalom. Something smells fishy in this story. Anytime you have 50 bodyguards around you, something smells fishy. It smells fishy. He got up early every morning and went out to the gate of the city. When the people brought a case to Absalom, or actually they're bringing a case to the king for judgment, so the people will be lining up to see his father, the king. And instead of Absalom allowing the people to see his father, the king, King David, he would get in front of them and he would get in front of them and block it. Watch this. He would ask where in Israel, where they came from. He would talk to them. He's making small conversation. He says, where you from? And then they would tell him what tribe they were from. Then Absalom would say, you really got a strong case. You really got a good case here. It's too bad that the king doesn't have any time. It's too bad that the king doesn't have anyone to hear it. I wish I were the judge. Then everyone could bring the cases to me for judgment, and I would give them justice. He says, I wish I could help you, but I'm sorry, I can't. The king's too busy. The king doesn't have this taken care of. Good morning, Mom. The king's too busy. The king doesn't have this taken care of. Absalom is setting himself up to try to be king. He is annihilating his father. The people are lining up to see his father, King David, to get a matter judged, because during those times, people will come to the king for judgment because they wanted to do the right thing. This is like a line of people lining up to actually talk to you, and then somebody getting in front of you when you don't even know it and says, she too busy for you. He can't talk to you right now. OMG. I have had people or armor bearers who tried to assist me, and I watch how they handle people, and I have corrected them like, ooh, I have gotten on their bottom. I'm like, wait a minute, don't ever be mean to anybody who is either trying to see me or to approach me or to hug me or to bring some type of matter to me, because you represent me. Don't ever do that. He's like, well, no, they can't sit here. They can't. No, I don't care. They can sit next to me. They can. No. We're good. I don't care if I'm getting ready to go up to preach or I don't care what it is. Don't ever be mean to anybody around me. And here's the problem. Absalom himself becomes the armor bearer that blocks people from getting to the pastor, blocks people from getting to the king, blocks people from getting to the judge. I'm starting slow, but it's going to make sense in just a moment. These are the people who represent you. Absalom was lying to the people. My father don't have time for you. In fact, he didn't even call him his father. He said, the king doesn't have father for you. He would say, how you doing? Where you from? He would get all cozy with him, familiar with him. And all of a sudden, the people started trusting Absalom like, man, we really need to make you judge. He said, I wish I was, but there's nothing I can do. And when the people would try to bow to him to say thank you, Absalom wouldn't let them. Absalom wouldn't let them bow at all, because Absalom's goal is to be cunning, to function in trickery. It is to be conniving. His goal is basically to get the people to think high of him and less of the king. Absalom gets in front of the people who are going to see his father. Absalom gets in front of the people who are going to see the king, and just to say, he is too busy to hear you. But if I were judge, I would do this differently. Watch out for the people who said, if I were in your position, oh God, I know. Am I the only one? Have you ever seen people who said, if I were pastor, if I were the leader of this company, if I were the manager, if I were your husband, if I were your wife, if that was my husband, if that was my wife, wait a minute, stop. If that was my son, if that was my daughter, stop. Shut your mouth. Yes, I said it. IG, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, I said it. No. The people that begin to try to basically say, I wish if I were, these are the people who have bad motives in their heart. These unresolved issues are about to come to the surface. David brought his son home after his son committed a murder against his other son. David brought his son Absalom home. After his son Absalom had his first son killed, they embraced, and now Absalom is about to show his true colors. Watch this. When the people would try to bow low to him to say, thank you, Oh man, thank you so much. I really wanted to talk to the king, but at least you talked to me. At least you consoled me. Absalom said, I'm so sorry. I wish I were king. I wish I were judge. And then they would bow to him, said, no, 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 don't bow to me. Don't bow to me. But he would take them by the hand. This is verse number 5. He would take them by the hand and kiss them. So, oh, God bless you. Oh, I love you. God bless you. These are the people who said that they love you and that they're praying for you, but they got a secret motive. Watch this. Sisters, these are the men to say, where's your husband at? He's not taking care of you. Oh my God, do you have on the same shoes? Oh, he didn't get your car fixed? Oh my God, is your hair not, what you need, you don't have enough money? Oh my God, if I were your man, if I were, if I were, if I were, watch for the if I were people. Watch them. Absalom did this with everyone who came to see the king for judgment. So he stole the hearts of all the people of Israel. He stole their hearts. The Bible clearly says he stole their hearts. Oh my God. We're in 2 Samuel chapter number 15, verse number 6. Absalom stole the people's hearts rather than reverencing the king or the judge who was his father. What do you do when she's secretly stealing your man? Oh, I know. You want to just leave it in the Bible. I want to make it plain as day and put it in your lap. What do you do when he's secretly getting in good with your wife? What do you do when they're secretly undermining your authority with your children? What do you do when they're secretly saying, man, if I were your friend, if I were your girlfriend, if I were your boyfriend, if we were close, what do you do? Oh my God. Come on here. These hidden agendas. There it is. They are definitely hidden agendas at best. Come on, Earl. Many of those people, most of those people aren't even happy with their own lives. Come on. Sharif, you're so right. Hidden agendas, hidden motives, unresolved issues are not resolved a lot of times because people have bad motives. You repented, you apologize, you reconcile. Now they've got another issue. Now they're making up stuff. Now they're flat out lying. Now they're trying to scandalize your name. Now they're trying to break the elasticity of your patience. Now they're really trying to heap up benefits to themselves. What do you do when people have hidden motives and hidden agendas and forgiveness is never enough? Yesterday we talked about forgiveness. Now we're past forgiveness. David has forgiven him. But what do you do when you've forgiven people and now they're still assaulting you secretly? They're assaulting you slowly. What do you do? After 4 years, Absalom said to the king, he did this for 4 years straight. When 2 Samuel chapter 15, verse number 7 says, after 4 years, this means Absalom did this for 4 years straight. Imagine all the people who could have been helped by King David. Imagine all the people who now have a bad view of who David is. Imagine all the people who view David in a different light because now his son has created this mantra of a heart. It's a falsetto. His son has created this mantra of a personality that he is basically a pastor, that he's got a shepherd's heart, that he's a great judge, and that he's a great king. But he secretly wants to be his father and take him out of position. He secretly wants the throne. What do you do when your own children have motives? Lord have mercy. What do you do when the people in your family have motives to be you? It's not enough that they were your cousin. They want to be you. It's not enough that she was your best friend. She wants to be you. She wants your husband. She wants your children. She wishes she had them. It's not enough for him to be your friend. He wants your wife. He wishes he could sleep with her. It's not enough for them to be a colleague. Now they got to have your position. So they got to tell your manager and somebody else something bad about you. They've got to lie on your work. They got to lie on the spreadsheet. They've got to lie on the Excel. They've got to lie in the email because they're trying to heap up people to their side And anytime you see people pulling cards to make themselves higher, this is called emptiness. Oh God, I feel this so deep in my gut. I'm trying to move on past this. Anytime you see people heaping up stones so that they can step higher, these are the stones that God didn't send. These are the stones that God didn't orchestrate. These are the stones that have gotten so many people in trouble. I call it emptiness, because you're so empty on the inside that you're now creating this persona on the outside that you are more than you actually are. And payday's coming, because you're going to have to actually live up to the reputation that you actually built. Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? OMG. TikTok fam, thank y'all for all the hearts, the gifts, the likes. Tap, 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 like. Thank you, thank you, thank you. YouTube, thank you for rocking with me. You guys, house the glory. Facebook fam, thank y'all for rocking with me. IG fam, thank y'all for all the comments. Now we're getting ready to shift. Watch this. After 4 years of doing this with a hidden agenda, Absalom said to the king, let me go to Hebron and offer a sacrifice to the Lord and fulfill a vow I made to him. Now Absalom is getting spiritual. He's saying, I have a devout, bless you, Mike. He says, I have a devout Christian lifestyle, and I've got to go to Hebron to sacrifice to the Lord and make a vow to him. If you need to make a vow, you can make a vow right there in Jerusalem. You don't really have to go to Hebron. But Absalom is lying. There it is, Ava, because he is cunning. He is cunning. He's cunning. Oh God, he's got a hidden agenda, Yvonne. Let me go to Hebron to offer a sacrifice to the Lord and fulfill a vow made to him. For while your servant was at, for a while, he says, while I was at Geshur in Aram, when we didn't have our relationship together, he says, I promised to the Lord to make a sacrifice to him in Hebron. So when I came back from Jerusalem, I just need to make this sacrifice. Absalom's lying. He wants to go to Hebron to create something on his own. First of all, nothing moved without the king knowing, especially in his household. So he has to ask the king for permission. Now, Absalom, how did you get to see the king, but for 4 years you blocked people from seeing the king? That's a whole nother story, because people will tell you that you can't do something, but they're all the while they're doing it themselves. Watch this. Verse 9. All right, the king told him, go and fulfill your vow. So Absalom went to Hebron. But while he was there, he sent secret messengers to all the tribes of Israel to stir up a rebellion against the king. Absalom just flat out sent people to stir up rebellion against the king, his father. First, people start by doing little bitty stuff. They're talking about you. They're emailing about you. They're texting you nasty stuff. They're saying little passive aggressive type stuff. They're saying little slick stuff, little sly stuff, little smart mouth stuff. And then they just flat out start trying to influence people against you. The Bible says right here in 2 Samuel chapter number 15, verse 10, but while Absalom was in Hebron, he was supposed to be sacrificing, in quotation marks, and submitting his vow to the Lord. He wasn't sacrificing. He sent secret messengers to all the tribes, all 12 tribes, to stir up rebellion against the king, his father, David. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is for the people who keep making excuses. Oh, that's so good, Cherie. Using weapons of a Jezebel spirit, because it's the spirit of control. Right, Frankie, 4 years unnoticed is crazy. Watch this. Watch this. This is for all of you who have made excuses for people. No, she's my friend. That's just how she is. And it's going to blow up in your face. Nah, he's a good guy. It's just that you keep making excuses for people who have hidden agenda on display. It's hidden right now, and you can make excuses for them right now. But I'm telling you, in a minute, it's going to tell on them. Watch this. So he sent messengers to all the tribes of Israel to stir up rebellion against the king, his father. He says, as soon as you hear the ram's horn, this blast, you are to say, Absalom has been crowned king in Hebron. Wait a minute. Absalom wants to be king. It comes out. He tells all the people that he's stirring up rebellion with in all the tribes, whenever you hear the blast, I need you to spread the word that I am now king. Who made you king, Absalom? Who gave you the authority to be king? What qualified you to be king? It's amazing to me, the people that I see who start churches, but they've never served under anyone else's ministry. Oh God, oh God, oh, can we talk about it? It is amazing to me. Let me plug in so I make sure that I'm good. It is amazing to me, the people who basically make themselves a particular title and wonder why it doesn't go well. It is so amazing to me. It is absolutely amazing to me, mind-blowing, that there are people who will appoint themselves, oh God, and wonder why they have great responsibility. Be careful that you don't appoint yourself. I don't know who I'm talking to. The position is good to have. The job may be good to have. The business may be good to have. The position may be good to aspire to, but be careful. Be careful, because you might get something that you cannot handle. You might get something that's going to blow your mind. You might get something that's going to make you blow out your mind. You might get something. I'm trying to tell you, be careful. Absalom's going to make himself king. Really? Really? Absalom, you just got reconciled to your father a few years ago. Really? Absalom, you've been tricking him and conniving for 4 years to your father. Really? You lied to your father and told him that you're going to go sacrifice to the Lord, but now you sent rebellious people around. You're going to make yourself king? OMG. Are you kidding me? Really? 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 That's what we're doing? That's how we're doing this? Let's see what else happens. He took 200 men from Jerusalem with him as guests, but they knew nothing of his intentions. Okay, for those who might have just joined, let's just bring this back around. Let's just bring this back around. Absalom had his half-brother Amnon killed because Amnon violated his sister. So some of you may be like, okay, you know what? Hey, that's justified. Okay. It might be a yellow flag, like it's justified. But he conspired and had his brother murdered. So you might, okay. Then Absalom is on the run from his father, King David. Doesn't say that he makes amends to get back to David. Yellow flag. Absalom comes back to the palace. He's there for 2 years. David says, you can stay here, but don't come in my presence. You're like, maybe green flag, because that's on David. That's his father. David should have spoke to him. And then they embrace. But before they embrace, Absalom went to go get Joab. And he sent Joab, who was the commander of David's army, said, go tell my father. He said, I'm trying to talk to you, Joab. Joab ignored him. So since Joab ignored him, he set Joab's field on fire. Big yellow flag. So you're going to burn up everything until you get your way. These are the people who tear stuff up until things go their way. So true, Matthew. Just like the prodigal son, he wanted a throne and the blessing from his father while he was still living. And anytime somebody wants something from you that's going to cost you your life, they really don't care about your life. So you might say, okay, yellow flag. Okay, he lied to his father. He lies to all the people lined up to see his father. You're like, okay, maybe yellow flag. Now he lies about serving the Lord. That's the orange flag. It's getting real hot. Now you sent messengers to all the tribes of Israel to stir up rebellion. That's a hot orange flag. And then here comes this red flag. Absalom took 200 men from Jerusalem with him as guests, but they knew nothing of his intentions. This is a red flag. But while Absalom was offering sacrifices, he sent for Ahithophel, one of David's counselors who lived in Gibeah. Soon many others also joined Absalom, and the conspiracy gained momentum. So now you got your father's counselor. Now you got your father's advisor. Really? Really, Absalom? Okay. This is a red flag. Everybody that can, thank you, Earl. I just need you to put a red flag in the comments. Because I came to speak to the people who've been ignored. You might not be Absalom, and the person that I'm talking about might not be Absalom, but God sent this word to warn you. You've been trusting people that you should not. Oh, God. Forgiveness is a good decision that clears your heart, but God never told you to trust everybody. He said, trust in the Lord and lean not into your own understanding. In fact, Psalm 118:8 says, put your trust in the Lord and not in man. This word is for all of you who've been trusting the wrong people. God is freeing you today. Stop trusting people who have hidden agendas and hidden motives. These are where the unresolved issues lie. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. A messenger soon arrived in Jerusalem to tell David, all Israel has joined Absalom in conspiracy against you. David, wake up. David, Absalom has conspired against you. That's my word to you. Wake up. David couldn't see it because that's his son. David couldn't see it because most of it was hidden from him. David couldn't see him because maybe he thought, maybe the people don't want to come to me to ask questions, to line up for me to judge their issues. David, you got a problem if you're not able to counsel people and they're not lining up to see you and you're the king. You've got a problem. If your son is saying that he wants to go to Hebron all of a sudden to sacrifice unto the Lord, you got a problem. If your son has sent messengers to all the tribes to conspire against you, you've got a problem. If your son has now taken 200 men, you've got a problem. If your son has now convinced your counselor to be on his side, David, you've got a problem. Wake up. Am I talking to David or am I talking to you? This text is calling for us to wake up. Stop the madness. They're not going to change. Stop the drama. They're always going to have trauma. Stop the drama. They're always going to be bringing you a story, a situation. Watch out for the people who have the same issue day after day, week after week, year after year, month after month. Like, yo, are you always in trouble? Do you always have drama? Do you never have a praise on your lips? Is it always woe is me? Wake up. And some of you are going to have to separate from these people. Wake up and hear God. This issue will never be resolved because they have unresolved issues inside of them. Wake up and see your value. Wake up and see your self-worth. Wake up and stop believing what they told you. Wake up and get the extra weight off your shoulder. The Bible says to lay aside every sin and the weight that does so easily beset you. Some things are sins and some things are weight. Get the weight off of you. There it is. My bride just prayed this morning that God is going to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And when God is resuscitating you, the weight is dropping off. When God is resuscitating you, the people around you that have been taking your oxygen, you now get to get the oxygen that they tried to take away. I don't know who I'm talking to. That's a word right there. When God resuscitates your dreams, when God resuscitates your anointing, when God resuscitates the power of God on the inside of you, all he's trying to tell you is to wake up. I'm better than them. Wake up. They've been trying to steal from you. Wake up. They've been stealing from you. Wake up. They've been taking from you. Wake up. They don't have good plans for you. Wake up. They're using you. Wake up. It's always drama. Wake up. Wake up. They're talking about you. Wake up. They are a backstabber. Wake up. They're cheating. Wake up. They're doing you wrong. Wake up. They have ill motives. Wake up, run, walk away, don't look back. I don't know who I'm talking to. Wake up and get the weight off your shoulder. David had to wake up. God sent somebody to tell David, all of Israel has conspired against you. How in the world could he be the king and then all of a sudden everybody turns against him? Lord have mercy. Watch out when people who used to be faithful to you, loyal to you, kind to you, good to you, start shifting. This means that somebody else has been talking to you, talking to them about you. Somebody else is whispering in their ear. Somebody else is pulling them away from you. Somebody else is in their ear. Be careful. Oh, God, I don't know who I'm talking to. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Because you keep seeing changes in the person, but you don't want to believe it. I know, and it hurts, and it's painful, and it's shocking. But when they show you who they are, believe them. I need everybody who can to type in believe them, believe them, believe them. I just need you to type in 2 words, believe them, believe them. Because when you believe them, then you will know how to handle yourself. Your problem is you keep acting that they're not the evil person that they are. Your problem is that you keep acting that the situation is not as bad as it is. Believe them. They do not have your best interest at heart. If I got on here Monday through Friday, if I got on here and I never encourage you, if I never inspire you, if I never edify you, something is wrong. Click off. Don't ever come back. I'm trying to talk to you about people who are for you. You'll know people who are for you when they can talk for you and they can actually do for you. Words and actions must line up together. This is your season to let the people go. The people that are not, oh God, I'm trying to get out of this thing. The people that are not for you, let them go. God's given you every sign. Come on, Mika. He showed you the jealousy. He showed you the competition. And it's a dangerous game. Lord, have mercy. Michelle, he showed us person after person, time after time. When God reveals what's really going on, believe God. Here's the problem. You believe people more than you believe God. Lord, have mercy. You remember you prayed about it. God, show me. Show me what's going on. Give me discernment. Give me wisdom, God. He showed you that friendship wasn't for you. He showed you that relationship wasn't for you. He showed you that colleague wasn't for you. He showed that member of church was talking against you. He showed you. You asked God and he showed you. And now you don't want to act on what God showed you. Because you keep making excuses for the person who is not for you. When people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Believe them. Believe them. Oh God. For every time I made excuses for people, I will be able to go to Antarctica every month. I will be able to travel to Africa every week. My wife and I would have multiple jets, multiple palaces in every country. I know what it's like to make excuses for people because we try to see the best in people. But it takes a real good friend. Sometimes it takes a real good spouse. Wake up. They're not for you. Wake up. It's drama. Wake up. You're spinning your wheels. It's a good prayer, Jenny. Lord, show me the second face. Ooh, that's a good prayer, Jenny. Lord, have mercy. Because all you need to do is see that they've got 2 faces. They got a face with you, and then they got a face when they're not with you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Mm, 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 mm. Deborah says, I will have a blade in my back bleeding and still find excuse as to why they didn't. Shaking my head. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh God. I can hear my family and my friends around me saying, Pastor, 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 you're too graceful. Pastor, Pastor, Pastor. They're protecting me from me because in the end, if I flip out, flipping out might be justified because it was built up all the time. But then now it's like all of a sudden you're flipping out. Let me talk to those of you who've ever flipped out before. Now you can just Google flipped out, whatever flipped out means to you. But you finally lost it because you've been taking so much over time. You've been taking and taking and taking. In fact, people have been taking and taking and taking from you, and you have been taking and taking so much from people that it causes you to lose your head. And here God comes to say, rather than you flipping out, just believe me. Just believe me when I show you who they really are. When God shows you who a person is, believe them. Believe them. It's going to stop the bleeding. It's going to stop you from being hurt, backstabbed. It's going to stop the embarrassment and the pain. David had to have somebody come to him to say, listen, your son has turned everybody in Israel against you. Everybody. And now you got to wake up. So David says, okay, I believe you. He says, we must run and flee at once, or it will be too late. So David urged the men that he had left around him. He said, hurry. If we get out of the city before Absalom arrives, both we and the city of Jerusalem will be spared from disaster. David knows that Absalom is coming to wreak havoc because he knows his son. It's nothing like knowing a family member. You know them. You know what they're capable of. His men came to him and said, we are with you. His advisor replied, do what you think is best. So King David and all his house set out at once. He left no one behind except 10 of his concubines to look after the palace. David says, y'all stay and look after the palace. That's a whole nother story. David took the wives with him, but he left the concubines. I'll just let y'all understand what that meant. He took what was most important to him, but he left the concubines to watch after the house. But he initially said, we better get out of here because my son has the capability to destroy all of Israel. OMG. So watch this. The king and all his people set out on foot, pausing at the house to let all the king's men move past to lead the way. They said, you know what? They just devised a plan. They said, David, we're going to be in front of you to protect you because we'll be the 50 bodyguards that actually protect the king that Absalom created through rebellion. There were 600 men from Gath who came with David, along with the king's bodyguards. Then the king turned, watch this, and said to Ilta, a leader of the men of Gath, he said, why are you coming with us? Go back. He says, go on back to King Absalom, for you are guests in Israel, a foreigner in exile. You arrived only recently. Should I force you today to wander with us? David says, you don't have to be on my side. You just got here. You don't have to choose sides. I don't even know where we will go. Go on back and take your kinsmen with you. May the Lord show you unfailing love and faithfulness. But Ilta, well, it's pronounced Itay, but Itay of Gath, he said to David, he says, even though I just got here, I vow to God and by my own life that I will be wherever my Lord the King goes, no matter what happens, whether it means my life, whether it means death. He says, whether it comes life or death, I'm going to be with you. And David said, all right, come with us. And Itay and all his men and their families went along. Let me pause to tell you that Itay is like the person that will always be with you no matter what. So true. September, what's up, September? Forgiveness is for your peace of soul, but you can choose to not forget so that you can move on and stop associating with those who are there to use you instead of being for you. That's so true. Because Absalom was there to use David. He wasn't really there to be for him. Watch this. Everyone cried loudly as the king and his followers passed by. They crossed the Kidron Valley and then they went out toward the wilderness. They're crying because they're like, David, how could your son turn against you? David, oh my God, David. So true, Ms. Andy. Itay is like Ruth with Naomi. He says, even though I just got here, I'm with you. I'm with you. There are some people who are with you tooth and nail. And I know you say, yeah, I don't have anybody. No, 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 no. I'm pretty sure it might be one or two people in your life. Might be several, but they are with you through hell or high water. They're with you through thick and thin. They're with you whether it rains or whether the sun comes out. They're with you whether you're broke or whether you got money. They're with you whether you're up or whether you're down. Now Zadok, the priest, and all the Levites also came along. They were carrying the Ark of the Covenant. They set down the Ark of God, and Abiathar the priest offered sacrifices until everyone had passed out of the city. So they're praying to God and offering sacrifices. Then the king instructed Zadok, that's the priest, to take the Ark of God back to the city. If the Lord sees fit, David said, he will bring me back to see the Ark and the tabernacle again. But let's leave the Ark of the Covenant in Jerusalem. But if he is through with me, then let him do what he sees best to me. Imagine how depressed David is. David is so distraught because his son has devised a plan against him. David is so in pain because his son has rebelled against him. This is to let you know that even children can devise plans against parents. And I know you're making excuses, and for you, you're saying this is like the Mendez brothers who eventually would take out their parents. And you say, well, it could be justified because of all the abuse or what have you. But when they lined it out during the court sentence, they found, wait a minute, this abuse did not justify the horrific killing of both mother and father. Sometimes, I don't care who it is, you gotta be careful. My wife and I, we've been talking about lately this new emergence of children who are killing their parents. A lot of it comes from mental illness. A lot of it comes from misunderstandings. A lot of it comes from abandonment. A lot of it comes from things that were done wrong in childhood, also the lack of medicine, also the evilness of man, also demonic spirits. It's an epidemic in our country and in our world. And I'm using this to say that now David is crying, David is hurting, David is weeping. Imagine what it's like to be a father who's on the run from his very own son. Oh, God. Lord have mercy. Oh, my God. Mm, 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 mm. Matthew says, yes, that comment that someone made, like you taught in previous books, do not forget what Amalek did to you, because they're cunning. They're cunning. I'm not asking you to forgive someone and never and never remember what they did. Every time you remember what they did, you have to choose to forgive again. But your memory is a blessing so that you never put yourself in an uncomfortable situation again for people who you cannot trust. So when God says, don't forget what the Amalekites did to you, don't forget that you can't trust them. Last 12 verses. Then the king instructed Zadok to take the ark of God back to the city. If the Lord sees fit, David said, He will bring me back to see the ark and the tabernacle again. But if he is through with me, then let him do what he wants. David is even praying, God might be through with me. Listen to David's self-talk. Listen, oh my God, we've only got 10 verses left. Listen to David's self-talk. David's self-talk, Emery, is God might be through with me. He yields to God, but he said, hey, God might be through with me because of his ill relationship with his son Absalom. Last 10 verses, watch this. The king also told Zadok the priest, look, here is my plan. You and Abiathar, this is the other priest, you should return quietly to the city with your son Ahimaaz and Abiathar's son Jonathan. I will stop at the shallows of the Jordan River. David says, I'm going to go through the Jordan River. He says, but you should go with your son and Abiathar's son. He says, wait there for a report from me. He says, I want you to wait right there. So Zadok and Abiathar took the ark of God back to the city where they stayed. David walked up the road. Whew. Listen to this, Anthony. David walked up the road to the Mount of Olives, weeping as he went. I told you David was crying. His head was covered and his feet were bare as a sign of mourning. And the people who were with him, they also covered their heads, and wept as they climbed the hill. David is weeping as he's walking up the road to the Mount of Olives. Who else will we see in the New Testament at the Mount of Olives? Walking down the Via Dolorosa on the way to be crucified. Who else would gather his disciples at the Mount of Olives because he was in a crushing place? Who else will be praying in a garden, as it were, drops of blood? David is preceding the moment that Jesus would be in the Mount of Olives. This weeping is letting you know that David is weeping over his son. This is like Jesus walking up the Via Dolorosa, walking up Mount Calvary, going down the Mount of Olives. This is like God saying, my son is about to be crucified. This is like God saying, my sons, which is sons and daughters, my spiritual sons have rebelled against me. Oh, the revelation in this text blows my mind, Elder Ward. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is why we must dig into the word and do a daily devotion, because it's not only warning us, giving us instruction, but it's showing us what's to come. The Old Testament is the New Testament concealed. The New Testament is the Old Testament revealed. So what you see in the Old Testament is a seed for what you shall see in the tree, on the cross, the tree, the cross, and the New Testament. Last 6 verses, watch this. When someone told David that his advisor, Ahithophel, was now backing Absalom, remember, Absalom convinced David's former advisor to be with him. David prayed. He says, "Oh Lord, let Ahithophel, my former counselor and advisor, let him give Absalom foolish advice." David says, don't let it work. Let him give him the wrong advice. When David reached the summit of the Mount of Olives where the people worshiped, Hushai, the Archite, was waiting there for him. Hushai had torn his clothes and put on dirt on his head, and he was in a sign of mourning. He was like, David, I can't believe it. My friend, is it true? Your son has turned against you. What does it feel like to be you? These are the people that you know that are with you, that they just sit with you. This was the beginning of Job's friends before they started running their mouth. They sat with him in the ashes. They sat with him through mourning. Sometimes you just need people to just sit with you. Real friends will sit with you when you don't know what's going on. Real friends will sit with you until you figure out what happened. Real friends will sit with you until God turns the situation around. Real friends will sit with you. Oh my God. Mm, 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 mm. The power of people that will just sit with you while you're crying. The power of people that will just sit with you while you don't know what to do. The power of people that will sit with you when your heart has been broken. Mm, mm. But David told him, if you go with me, you will only be a burden. Go back to Jerusalem, Hushai. I know you feel bad. And tell Absalom, I will now be your advisor. O king, just as I was your father's advisor in the past, then you can frustrate and counter Ahithophel's advice. Oh, David's got a plan. First of all, Hushai basically was somebody who used to advise David as well. David had more than one advisor. Ahithophel was one, but Hushai was another one. So this is the type of person that was loyal to David. So David says, go serve Absalom, so that when Ahithophel gives Absalom, my son, bad advice, you can counter it and give him good advice, so that David has somebody on the inside. David says, go be my person on the inside. Earl said, where they at? Where they at? Because sometimes it's hard to find people who would just sit with you in pain. And if you're in pain long enough, people leave. Where are the people who would sit with you when you're going through? Where are the people who won't try to give advice? They won't say a word. They'll say, man, I'm so sorry. Girl, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Bro, man, my heart breaks for you. So does Zadok and Abiathar the priest, he says, they're going to be there. He says, we will be there. Tell them about the plans being made in the king's palace. He says, Hushai, I want you to go in, and everything Ahithophel tells my son Absalom that's wrong, I want you to counter it. And then I want you to give that information to Zadok and Abiathar, because they're still on my side, and they're the priests that's holding up that end. Tell them about the plans being made in the king's palace. And they will, and notice David is acknowledging that Absalom is king. He says, go tell them about the plans that's being made in the king's palace. One view says David's talking about his palace and he's believing that his palace will be restored. Another view literally says that this is basically David acknowledging that his son has made him king, and that he would rather just give his son the kingship rather than die, rather than fight his son. Chris says, I'm one of them who will ride with you all the way. I believe it, Chris. I believe it. I believe it. He says, and they will send their sons, Ahimaaz and Jonathan, to tell me what's going on. He says, so I got a plan. So David's friend Hushai returned to Jerusalem, getting there just as Absalom arrived. Whew! And we'll dig into the rest of that tomorrow. OMG. OMG. I got a few meetings to take care of. I've got a few things to filming, meetings, and so on and so forth. OMG. I wish I had more time to dig into the truth of all of this. OMG. This is powerful. This is profound. This is weighty. I'll close with this. David does not want to fight his son. David's son, Absalom, has committed rebellion. He's been cunning for years. He's turned everybody against his father. But David would rather use wisdom, because he's not just trying to destroy Absalom, because Absalom is his son. So he's got the daunting task to protect the people, protect himself, but also to protect his son. And we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. Oh, God. What a cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger. Mm, mm, mm. I hope this has blessed you. If you all miss any portion of it, feel free to go to YouTube. YouTube is housing the glory. It's saved there. OMG. OMG. Bless you. Be careful. Forgive, but be careful on the trust part. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. This message is a warning for even people in your family. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you can't even sometimes trust people in your family. There's a reason why the Bible would say that a friend sticks closer than a brother. Mm, 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 mm. Father, I thank you for my brother, my sister. I thank you for strengthening their minds. I thank you that they are getting the power to forgive. I pray, oh God, that you would heal past hurts and pains to allow them to be able to forgive. And in the midst of forgiving, God, I pray that they would not easily trust until they see evidence of the fruit of the other person's love. God, I thank you because we repent for the trespasses that we have committed. As we build trust with other people, as other people learn to forgive us and trust us again, help us to walk righteous in your authority and in your character and in divine integrity. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, I love y'all. I want y'all to thank you, Mom. Y'all have an amazing day. Keep your head up. Be good to yourself and be good to everybody else. Remember, the best is yet to come. God is not through blessing you. I love y'all. Peace, y'all.